and thank you very much to Ms Graham and to Mr Walsh for your contributions. I have an awful lot to say to both of you, but I think it's probably most important that I'll start with Transport Infrastructure Ireland regarding the review of the National Development Plan. I'm representing the constituency of Cork East. It's quite a large geographical area in Cork County, and I have to say that from the point of view of the previous National Development Plan, or the current one should I say, we were very badly let down in terms of the level of investment that Cork County as a whole got and the focus that it got when that document was being drawn up. I say so in the context of the fact that the National Development Plan excluded the upgrade of the N25 road between Cork City and Waterford City, and I'm dealing with very serious congestion issues now at present at Castlemartyr village in East Cork and at Killa when there is an excess of 20,000 vehicles per day on busy days travelling down the main street in Castlemartyr village in particular, with multiple kilometres of tailbacks running out of that village, and that needs to be addressed, Mr Walsh. I have to say that to you, that it should have been done long before now. It is a major political priority of mine, and it is a very, very significant project that we need to see happening under the review of this NDP, that would be put in as a white box scheme on the new National Development Plan when that time arises, when this document has been finalised and completed. I'd also want to stress to you that from the perspective of the transport of goods and services, obviously the Rosslare connection is becoming increasingly important for goods and services heading to the continent via the Rosslare to direct routes to Europe, and we have to prioritise the upgrading of that southern corridor along the south of the country. I have to say as well, from economic development, that Waterford County and some parts of East Cork, particularly Youghal, are very economically disadvantaged areas in some cases. So I think giving priority to that particular region in Ireland should be more important than I would say some of the projects that TII have prioritised before now. When I look in comparison to constituencies like Wexford and the investment that they got, while at the same time projects like the N25 upgrade in Castlemartyr and Killa, and in addition to that, the North Ring Road in Cork were shelved, quite frankly, is simply not good enough, and we have to work to address these as soon as we possibly can. They're critically important projects, and I would like to see increasing focus going on going into Cork County, which it does deserve. It's also worth highlighting another significant problem that Cork County Council, as one of the largest local authorities in the country, have been putting enormous levels of effort in, is upgrading the access road on and off of Cove Island, the Great Island. They have incredibly below average road infrastructure connecting that island, and although they have rail connections and an excellent bus service, both private and public, it can't be denied that the road access to Cove is significantly underdeveloped. It's very much over capacity and has been restrained by very, very old road infrastructure, particularly the bridge at Belleville. And unfortunately, our local authority is simply not in a position by any means to actually pay for the upgrade of that project, which is expected to come in around 100 million, Mr Walsh, and they're looking for that road to be classified as a national road. And I have to hammer home the point that in terms of the top three priorities in Cork at present for the local authority, from the roads point of view, it is dealing with those particular issues, and that is up to TII. That can't be done by the local authority simply because of the cost. Even if you look at the schemes that are available, Mr Walsh, in terms of giving funding to local authorities to deal with an issue such as a new bridge at Belleville and upgrading the Cove Access Road, the schemes that are usually available come in, I think, around 60 million to 100 million, but this for the entire country. But that individual scheme will require about 100 million overall. So it just shows you that there is a lot of scope for improvement there in terms of the interaction between Transport Infrastructure Ireland and local authorities, where there is a requirement for national roads, or for new national roads, should I say, or road classification, which is quite important. To Ms Graham, thank you so much for being here. You're probably highly aware of who I am at this point from my work on raising the issue in regards to the expressway inadequacies in terms of the National Transport Authority's role as well in our subsidised bus routes, and how the pricing structures are completely out of balance, which I highlighted in particular with Youghal Town some time ago by my colleague Mark McSherry, or through my colleague Mark McSherry. I have to say that I am not satisfied with the current subsidised bus routes or the bus routes under the control of the NTA in Cork at present. I'm looking at the areas like the Jack Lynch Tunnel, the South Ring Road in Cork, highly densely populated areas like Mahon, down around CUH, the universities, for example, and the employment hubs at Ringaskiddy, and how they're connected up to major residential towns throughout Cork County. And it has to be said that there's very, very little being done to actually address the particular opportunity that's there to cut down traffic congestion on the South Ring Road by allowing metropolitan areas like Carricktuhal, like Lowntown, Middleton, Fermoy, and Mitchelstown perhaps as well, to actually use public transport services to access parts of the South Central constituency, like Mahon Point and other employment hubs and retail hubs and residential hubs and our education as well, because that's a very, very important issue in Cork that has not been addressed, and it's causing havoc on the South Ring Road. And the consequence, of course, is now that TII are spending an extraordinarily large amount of money on upgrading the Dunkettle interchange and Jack Lynch tunnel as well. So I think we have to see some, I suppose, an integrated transport service there, which is quite important, because we'll only end up in a situation in another 2 decades' time when the Dunkettle interchange, when it is finally completed, which obviously will be a good thing for the county, but it could be overcapacity at another point in the future. So I would strongly be of that view, and I think we have to try and prioritise it as well. In terms of other projects that I do think that need consideration from the NTA is expanding the green zone fair area around Cork County. Cork is the second largest city in the Republic of Ireland.
Have you questions to ask with your time? Have you questions to ask of the witnesses?
Yes, I do have this. This is one important question, Chair, for Ms. Graham, and I'll finalise on this. And Ms. Graham, I would ask, have you any intention of expanding the green zone area as well? It's quite important that we would actually view that as a project of importance. Obviously, it's going to have a huge determination on how many people are utilising public transport. So have you any plans on expanding the green zone fair area in Cork? Could you confirm that, please?
Just on the green zone in Cork, we currently don't have any intention of extending the green zone in Cork, but I would say that it will be reviewed as part of Bus Connects Cork, which will be kicking off now, is looking at the network of services for the Cork city area. And part of that will then, we can consider what is the appropriate fares associated with that. At this stage, it's not possible to reduce any of our fares in any location or around the country because of the impact of COVID on our fare revenue. And as a result, the government have had to put in significant additional funding into our subsidised services in order to keep them going. So at this moment in time, it's not appropriate to actually reduce fares in any location, but we can consider them as part of the Bus Connects network review, which will be starting very shortly.
Thank you very much. And Chair, have I any time left?
Just a minute.
Yeah, Mr. Walsh, could I just ask you as well, just in conjunction or in connection with the N25, is there any comment on that, or the North Ring Road as well in Cork and the Cove Road? Have you any information for me on any of those? Thank you.
Information for you. Well, there is a €100,000 allocation to Cork County Council in relation to Castlemartyr to undertake studies this year. You're quite right, it's not in the current National Development Plan. If it is included in the revision of the development plan, we will progress it with Cork County Council. But I have no news in that regard, no.
And is it a priority for TII?
The provision of a safe and efficient network of national roads is a priority. The selection of the projects to go into the National Development Plan will be one for the Department of Transport and DEPR, and we'll deliver them.